Oh, hey mate, how much for all this?
Oh, some good choices there, sir. That'll be $60.
60? Oh, nice. That's pretty good.
Every year.
Sorry, what? Okay. To be fair to Nintendo, it's not $60 exactly. It's $59.95. And if you already have a base account, they give you a discount based on how much longer until you have to pay again. Anyway, Nintendo Online Expansion Pack kind of sucks, and you probably shouldn't be buying it. Let me show you why. For $59.95 a year, the expansion pack unlocks everything from the original Nintendo Switch Online plan and adds a few extra bits and pieces. And I really do mean a few. Right now, they're renting new small Nintendo 64 and Mega Drive catalogs and 2 bits of DLC for Nintendo games. Essentially, it means you're paying $30 extra a year for this handful of extra stuff. The main draw of the entire pack are the Nintendo 64 and Mega Drive games. At the time of publishing this video, there are 13 Nintendo 64 titles and 22 for Mega Drive. Both lineups have some really good stuff, especially on Mega Drive, but there are so many classic Nintendo 64 games that I feel should already be here. Like, where's GoldenEye? Where's Smash Bros? How about Pokemon Stadium? There are apparently more on the way, with at least 5 titles announced, but don't expect to find any release dates for those. You get them when they're ready. At this rate, they've been dropping one new game per month since October 2021, so if you are looking for a particular game to come out, it's probably going to be a while.
When it comes to actually playing the games, yeah, it's a good time. When the service first released, there were a few issues with emulation quality, but Nintendo have actually fixed those now, and everything runs super smoothly, and yeah, I personally have had no issues with it.
The interface is pretty much the same as the other retro game libraries, with the ability to create suspend points, but you do lose the rewind feature on Nintendo 64 games for some reason. The only issue I've personally had in playing these games and enjoying myself is the controls sometimes feel a little bit wonky, and that does make sense when you look at the old Nintendo 64 controller. They've had to somehow make this fit into something a little bit more sane. So yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate, but I get it. I am a little bit frustrated there are no instructions or user guides. When you do use the user guide button, you get this or this. Cool, thanks, I guess, but I want to know how to actually play the game. I would love instead to see the original manual so I can actually learn how to play and get the backstory and all that good stuff. If this is trying to be like a mini museum of old games, and I think that's what they're going for by showing the original box art, flicking through the manual is a huge part of that retro experience. It just tells you so much more about the game world. Now, a cool new addition to some of these games is online play. It is with friends only, so there are no lobbies to pair you with other random players, but if you're craving an old school Mario Kart romp with your mates, now you don't even have to be in the same country. Can't complain about that. Well, I can. Like most of Nintendo's online services, it's just not up to scratch with literally any other service out there. You still get lags, you still get random dropouts, and that makes for an overall unfun experience when it happens. So yeah, overall I'd say this retro stuff is perfectly usable and you will get some joy out of it, but it's really hard to say that it's actually worth it. Now, I've seen a pretty wide range of opinions from Nintendo fans about whether this service is actually worth getting, and my absolute favorite opinion has to be that we should be grateful for such a service. That instant access to this many games at this price would just blow their minds as a kid. I mean, yeah, mine too. In the 90s, but now they're kind of boring. Compare that to the thousands of modern games I could be playing in 2022, many of which are free. I think similar to the retro titles that come with basic Nintendo Switch Online, you will find value in this, but only if you really want to relive those old games or show them to your kids or something like that. The issue here is with Nintendo Switch Online, you could get a 7-day trial or pay for a month or 3 months, play everything you want, and then stop paying for the service when you're done. With Expansion Pack, you don't get those options. You have to buy it for a whole year. That seems a little sus.
How about I just take this one and leave the rest?
Can't.
Why not?
Can't.
Is there a cheaper version on the Wii U or 3DS, perhaps?
Attention customers, the Nintendo shop is now closed.
Yeah, so with the closure of the Wii U and 3DS eShops, it seems like subscription services like this are literally the only way you'll be able to officially buy old Nintendo games. Some old games may eventually be available through remasters, but Nintendo haven't had a great track record releasing those lately. Being able to purchase single older games for a small fee is a great way to get those games to people. Nintendo have been doing that since their first online store on the Wii, which ruled, by the way. Now the only way to play these games is to rent an entire catalog from Nintendo, probably with a bunch of games that you don't actually want, and pay Nintendo year on year for that privilege. I'm not buying it. Okay, I've changed my mind. I just want these tracks for Mario Kart. That's it.
Okay, that will be $37.50, or...
Please don't say it.
Pay me $60 a year.
That's more money, and I have to pay you every year to keep it.
But you'll get all these as well. I don't want those.
In a bit of a surprise announcement back in February, Nintendo released onto the world paid DLC for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, a 2017 re-release of a Wii U game from 2014. They said they're going to release 48 new tracks, which doubles the amount of tracks already available in the game. Now, they aren't 100% new because they're all remade from older Mario Kart games, but they're all new to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Now, I've played through the first pack and they're almost as good as any other Mario Kart 8 tracks, with all the usual bright colours, interesting settings, and gorgeously reimagined soundtrack in that iconic Mario Kart 8 style. I say almost because I did notice there's none of those cool anti-gravity sections found in the original tracks. But to be honest, I'm still pretty excited to check out the rest as they release over the next 2 years.
Okay, fine. I'll take your subscription. Just hand over the tracks.
That's the spirit, sir. Coming right up. Here you go.
Cheers. Hang on. There's only 8 tracks in here?
Don't you fret. The rest are in the mail. Just remember, pay us every year or you won't get them.
Wait. When will I have them all?
Oh, sometime around the end of 2023.
Yeah, this is the thing that's making me raise a bit of an eyebrow at Nintendo here. They're offering this DLC as part of a subscription service, which effectively means they're renting you DLC. Thankfully, they are offering it as its own paid DLC pack as well, but the maths works out so well in Nintendo's favor if you go the expansion pack route. So if you purchase that pack on release day for Wave 1, by the time the 6th one is out at the end of 2023, they haven't actually provided exact dates of course, you will have already given Nintendo about $120, and your third bill for another $60 is only 3 months away. If this is a big reason for buying the pack, you're a long way past that one-time $37.50 that you could have paid at the start. Another and much worse scenario is for people who initially start with the pack and then realize they don't want it anymore but still want those Mario Kart maps. Well, you've still got to pay that $37.50 to get access back to them. Essentially, you're just giving Nintendo a double dip on your precious coins. My advice, if you really want the Mario Kart tracks, just buy them. It's a one-time fee and you get to keep access to them forever. Or until Nintendo closed the Nintendo Switch eShop. In a similar vein, Animal Crossing also gets some DLC as part of the pack, but the content in that one is all fully released. I'll be honest, I couldn't get into Animal Crossing, so I haven't played with this DLC, but I have heard really good things about it. And with this one, if you stop paying for the pack, you at least still get to hold on to any items that you unlocked through the DLC stuff, so that is a bonus. Still, I would recommend just buying the pack by itself, because then you can hold on to it forever.
Anyway, thanks for shopping at Nintendo. Remember, pay us $60 a year or we'll take all your shit back.
Thank you, Nintendo. I f***ing hate you.
See you next week, yeah?
Oh, of course. See you next week. Okay, so is this service actually worth paying for?
Look, everything is functional, so I'm not going to say it's a bad product. It's just leaving a lot of room for improvement. There are some big titles that should be available on this already, and Nintendo just aren't really communicating what's coming down the road. Also, the fact that you can only choose an annual subscription for something that you might find you only want for a short period of time is a little dicey.
Of course, games! Talk about easy money!
Now hey, maybe I'm making too big a deal about a product that only costs $30 a year. That might not be a huge amount of money to you, but the weird way that it's being packaged, just kind of makes me uncomfortable and really not want to recommend it. It really just feels like a way for Nintendo to skim a little bit more cash off the top of their most loyal customers, or worse, skim some cash off people who don't know any better. If you are really itching to play some old Nintendo 64 games, at least the ones that are on the service, then this is probably the easiest legal way to do that. So definitely go for it if you're willing to spend your money on it. I'm just hoping that everyone else votes with their wallets and shows Nintendo that a service like this kind of just sucks. Just sell us the games.